The Game Awards featured a widely insincere moment they called the Game Changers Award. There's so much wrong with this single moment that I feel the need to highlight each and every part of it separately. I tried to make it a single tweet. I tried. It can't be done. For context, the Game Awards has stalwartly refused to acknowledge that anything bad ever happens in the gaming industry. Thousands of people would be laid off, and the show would start with, "It's been an incredible year. Gaming is the best. Let's celebrate." He started off by admitting that layoffs happen, but then wavered and quivered at the idea that he must always remain neutral. This was a very hard decision. Truly, it's impressive how hard it was to say, "This year has been difficult for some, especially at such a serious event." Then they paraded Amir Satvat up on the stage after explaining that he, believe it or not, made an Excel spreadsheet that people put their information in if they were laid off. There have been a lot of layoffs for several years, but now there's a spreadsheet. I don't mean to downplay so hard. If you're one of the people who lost their jobs, I honestly feel for you. And I know no one is going out of their way to help you, so every single bit of help feels like a lot. But this is literally a spreadsheet where you self-input information. When your entire plan is ripped from you and suddenly the future you thought you had is now an impossible fiction, it can absolutely feel like you need anything. And to be clear, there is now a whole network of other people who have rallied to provide real resources. They brought this man up on stage and said he made a spreadsheet when no one else could do anything. They paraded him in front of the people who literally fired everyone. It's a room of the people who fired the people you say you're helping. They awarded you for it. A large chunk of the audience is people who chose to lay off people a month after Christmas. They're planning to lay off people right now. They're going to do it next month. They gave you an award for providing volunteer services to their Mackenzian sacrifices. They clapped for you. The ultimate irony, of course, is that they positioned Amir as some guy who just felt really bad and did all this for no reason and with no expectations and never asked for anything in return. While that's true, it's not exactly honest, and there's a difference. First, Amir is positioning himself as some sort of expert, some sort of #1 Google search result for games, jobs, resources that provides exclusive perks and funnels viewers to other people's blogs, most of whom charge for paid speaking gigs, coaching, and career optimization. TGA also positioned Amir as some guy who just felt really bad for everyone. Some fan of games who saw this tragedy and felt a need to do something to address it. And while, yeah, he's being paraded in front of the people who fired everyone, he's at least doing something. Except Amir is, surprise, part of the same crowd. Amir finds game companies for Tencent to acquire, after coming from Amazon Games, which collectively have laid off at least 1,000 people. He's not some random guy. He's part of a $490 billion multinational supercorporation. Tencent owns Riot Games and has some major stakes in Ubisoft, Epic Games, From Software, Larian Studios, Krafton, Grinding Gear, Remedy, Digital Extremes, Inflexion, Supercell, Platinum, Jaeger, Kakao, Paradox, Fat Shark, Funcom, Shark Mob, Frontier, and even Discord. Tencent represents 50% of China's mobile game market and 35% of the entire gaming industry, and is the most profitable gaming company, yes, more than Microsoft or Sony or Apple or Google or EA or Nintendo, and beats most of those by double or triple earnings. So you have an executive for gaming's top company, applauded by gaming's highest executives, for creating a self-input spreadsheet and leveraging other people's volunteer labor, receiving an award for helping people laid off by the people applauding the guy who works for one of the offenders. And look, great that he's doing anything at all. Wouldn't it be nice if that room full of industry executives representing $500 billion in annual revenue did more than award a guy for making a spreadsheet? And isn't it sad that the very best anyone did was make a spreadsheet? So at first, my take on this was going to be that they awarded themselves for feeling bad for laying people off. So that thread was shared to me by the Average Gatsby, who also suggested that I do my reading on it. He and Nicola Khan, who is another regular contributor to What the Egad, also reminded me that this would be an ideal case to just talk about the issue of sincerity, namely that the people in this industry have zero sincerity. This is Reddit culture personified. Now here's a clip that's making its rounds because many people have assumed that Sven Vincke, the director of Baldur's Gate 3, was lampshading this entire event. And if so, that's incredibly based and clever.
The Oracle told me that the Game of the Year 2025 was going to be made by a studio who found the formula to make it up here on stage. It's stupidly simple, but somehow it keeps on getting lost. Studio made their game because they wanted to make a game that they wanted to play themselves. They created it because it hadn't been created before. They didn't make it to increase market share. They didn't make it to serve as a brand. They didn't have to meet arbitrary sales targets or fear being laid off if they didn't meet those targets. And furthermore, the people in charge forbade them from cramming the game with anything whose only purpose was to increase revenue and didn't serve the game design. They didn't treat their developers like numbers on a spreadsheet. They didn't treat their players as users to exploit. And
why are they applauding? He's talking about you. There's zero self-awareness in that room.
They didn't make decisions. They knew were short-sighted and function of a bonus or politics. They knew that if you put the game and the team first, the revenue will follow. They were driven by idealism and wanted players to have fun. And they realized that if the developers didn't have fun, nobody was going to have any fun. They understood the value of respect, that if they treated their developers and players well, those same developers and players would forgive them when things didn't go as planned. But above all, they cared about their game because they loved games. It's really that simple, said the Oracle.
Well, so you see how Sven straight up says that people in the industry are not making games for us, right? They're making games for themselves, right? But that's the centrist position. It's very, very naive. For instance, we have Neil Druckmann and his whole obsession with androgyny as he continues to parade about with Naughty Dog and their newest title, which was showcased here. And Druckmann's propaganda is just one such clear indication that we're not in a realm where these people ever want to make the games that they want. No, they want to straight up just kill the entire industry and kill these franchises that people love. They want to poke us in the eyes and laugh as they destroy white culture. As Sam Hyde would say, they want us broke, they want us dead, they want our kids and brainwashed, and they think it's funny. Absolutely, 100%. These people, these celebrities, these industry professionals, they are completely lacking in their ability to be sincere. And yet they want to pat themselves on the back for being great storytellers, great designers, great artists. Whenever they produce anything, there's always some aspect of irony or cynicism to it. You're not allowed to believe in anything. You're not allowed to trust in anything. You're not allowed to adhere to anything meaningful. Instead, they want to create a world where everything is just valueless. And all we're meant to do is consume, consume, consume until we die. And the real tragedy is that they're only able to get away with this because many consumers, people like you, like me, we have long been coerced, not forced, but coerced into just going along with it. We're told to just ignore the wokeness, just enjoy your slop. All the while, they continue to kill these industries while telling us that we're bigots if we notice what they're doing. And even as their industry is crashing and burning all about them, do they say that they were wrong? Are they repentant? No, of course not. They're doing the opposite. They give themselves an award and a round of applause.